Before we dive into the world of Venom, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button if you're enjoying the content. Uh, uh, as a longtime movie enthusiast, I've seen my fair share of flops and blockbusters, and the Venom franchise has been quite the roller coaster ride. The latest installment, Venom: The Last Dance, may not have set the world on fire, but it still managed to hold its ground among some rather forgettable entries. The Last Dance was the least profitable film in Tom Hardy's Venom series, and there might be factors outside the movie itself that contributed to this outcome. Uh, the first two films in the trilogy performed quite well, but the third installment saw a noticeable drop in box office earnings, despite being widely acclaimed as the best of the three movies in terms of quality. The financial disparity between the Venom films is stark. The differences between each are very conspicuous. This can best be seen in the worldwide box office figures. Venom made 856 million. Venom: Let There Be Carnage made 506 million, and Venom: The Last Dance made $456 million. As a diehard movie fan, I must admit that the box office performance of Venom: The Last Dance left me somewhat underwhelmed, uh, raking in approximately half of what the first movie made with a total of $456 million. It's clear that it didn't quite live up to its predecessor's success. With a production budget of $120 million, it technically managed to be considered a relative success. Uh, uh, yet, yet when compared to its previous installments, it feels like an unexpected and noticeable blip on the radar. Um, a significant issue is the waning audience enthusiasm for the symbiote series universe. Well, the initial Venom film was unique, offering a blend of action, comedy, self-awareness, and horror. Subsequent movies have failed to keep up that freshness. Furthermore, the SSU doesn't possess the unified, interconnected narrative allure of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Initially, it was anticipated that the SSU would develop this aspect at some point. However, it still has quite a distance to travel before it can effectively unite its characters, particularly if Tom Hardy decides to step away from his role. The closing scene of Spider-Man: No Way Home hinted at Venom joining the main Marvel Cinematic Universe, implying that the villain would eventually be part of the primary Marvel storyline. However, Venom: The Last Dance didn't fully leverage this momentum. Uh, Although it seemed like a golden chance to incorporate Venom into a larger Marvel narrative, the movie instead continued to keep him separate. This was rather frustrating and gave the impression that Sony overlooked the opportunity to team up with Marvel Studios, opting instead for continuing its struggling franchise. Critics found The Last Dance more favorable than Let There Be Carnage, but it didn't quite reach critical acclaim. Critics appreciated Tom Hardy's performance and the blend of humor and action, yet they pointed out its limited merited depth. Despite some unfavorable reviews, the first two films were successful. However, the absence of a powerful promotional angle or widespread praise might have affected audience attendance. The marketing mainly focused on spectacle, whereas the movie's true strength was Tom Hardy's captivating performance, especially in Venom: The Last Dance, where his acting shone brightest in its emotional finale. A crossover featuring Venom alongside one of the Spider-Man characters has been hinted at since the release of Venom: Let There Be Carnage, and it appeared that Spider-Man: No Way Home was setting this up. Nan Wilser, fans have been eagerly anticipating this eventuality, whether it be Tom Holland's Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield's, or Tobey Maguire's, and we're especially hopeful after the tantalizing hints. Um, just as a collaboration with the MCU would have been exciting, Sony unfortunately missed out on this chance, leaving many fans disheartened and questioning their earlier teases. The lack of Spider-Man in The Last Dance may have led to viewer apathy, as the tale is closely connected to him in the comics. To make it continuously leaving out his character seems to be weakening the franchise's allure, making it seem rather aimless for many viewers who had hoped for a crossover event. One additional factor could be the departure of the Venom film series from sticking closely to the character's comic book origins, not to, um, despite the films emphasizing humor and Chris Hardy's unique portrayal, they have not effectively conveyed the darker, intimidating aspects that Venom comics fans appreciate. For certain viewers, this deviation from faithful adaptation weakens the movie's authenticity as a Marvel production, transforming one of the most famous villains into just another typical superhero. The growing number of superhero films has led to a highly competitive market, and not every production can ensure a hit at the box office. The influx of comic book adaptations, especially post-pandemic, has sparked more discerning audiences and the emergence of superhero saturation. Without a distinctive feature or being classified as a significant event film, Venom: The Last Dance found it challenging to make an impact amid stiff competition. The overabundance of SSU films from one studio in 2024 is largely responsible for this situation. Although it didn't bring in as much at the box office as some might have hoped, Venom: The Last Dance managed to surpass the earnings of several other Sony films in their attempt to grow the Spider-Man universe. And it's Spider. Specifically, it outperformed both Morbius and Madam Web, making it the third most successful film of the 5 movies in this series so far. The Last Dance seems poised for success, demonstrating that Tom Hardy's character Venom continues to captivate its audience. The film titled Madam Web didn't perform as well as Morbius in the box office, ironically. Given its apparent quality, one significant factor that contributed to its underperformance was the misleading previews, which led fans to anticipate more appearances of Spider-Women than actually occurred. Although they were crucial characters, their presence was predominantly before they gained their powers, leaving many spectators feeling let down. Predictions suggest that Kraven the Hunter is expected to earn around $39 million during its first weekend at the domestic box office, which falls between the earnings of Madam Web and Morbius. Given this, it's highly likely that Kraven the Hunter will also struggle financially, potentially not surpassing the earnings of Venom: The Last Dance. While Venom: The Last Dance may have had lower than expected returns, it still represents a stronger entry compared to Sony's riskier projects. As Sony continues to grow its Spider-Man universe, the insights from Venom: The Last Dance could influence future productions. However, the chances of this happening are becoming less probable. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time,